All right, so the Astros are looking really good. Sorry I haven't done a lot of updates lately. I've been super busy, just having fun and being social and stuff. But I've really been enjoying this last week of the Astros. A lot of their success has been with their starting pitching, not only not giving up many runs. I'm talking about like 1, maybe 2 runs for the starters at the most. But it's also they're going deep into the games. 6, 7 innings. Arrighetti finished 7 innings for the first time today, giving up no runs and getting 10 strikeouts. Just looking really, really solid out there. Hunter Brown, Blanco, Valdez, all looking very good. So I think the starting pitching coming together and getting this stuff down is the difference right now for the Astros. They've had 1 or 2 good offensive appearances. They definitely haven't looked bad. It's just been that they have left a lot of people on base. They're still refusing to walk. They're not working the counts with the opposing pitchers, so they're leaving the opposing pitcher in the game a lot longer than they otherwise would be in there. So I think that has a little bit to do with it, or even a lot. They're still not striking out much, but they'll ground out, they'll pop out, still have a great batting average, but their on-base percentage, struggling a little bit. So anyway, really good to see Hunter Brown coming together this month. I mean, he's been a very, very solid pitcher for us. Blanco continues to hold it down. He's an all-star. If he's not in the all-star game, he got ripped off. Okay? And I don't want to hear about his 10-game suspension, because all that was rosin mixed with sweat on his non-pitching hand. If you see him pitch in any game this year, last year, he sweats. He just burns hot. And I get it, because I burn hot. Now, I don't sweat like Blanco, but he sweats. He just works through it. He looks like he's used to it. He doesn't look uncomfortable, but he's coated in sweat. And I think that he was using rosin to kind of keep the glove on his hand, and all the pitchers use it to grip the ball a little bit, but it just got to be a little bit too much in his non-pitching hand. Weird rule, but it was a rule. He paid his sentence for it, but it hasn't changed how he's pitched before or after that suspension. So if he doesn't get the nod, and that's brought up as a reason, that's crap. Bregman had one heck of a June, bringing up his batting average from a miserable April and May. Just at very end of May, he's like, okay, I remember how to hit again. I remember how to be an all-star. And I'm so glad. I want to see all the Astros do well. I'm thrilled that Valdez is doing better. That's something that, you've heard me say a lot on these videos, is like Valdez is a coin toss. He's either going to, have nobody on the base paths for 6 innings, or he's going to get blown out by the 3rd inning, and he's going to have the bases loaded for 2-3 straight innings in a row. You just don't know what you're going to get with it. And I still think that's the case, but I would love it if he has truly turned it around to be more consistent. I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know if for everybody it's just getting into the flow of these baseball games. But I mean, today we hit game 80, and the team is at 500 finally. Has not happened this year. If you were to tell me the Astros wouldn't be at 500 ball until the end of June, I'd say we're not making the playoffs. But if you look at it, the division's struggling, and we're not even that far out in the wild card. I mean, we're in the hunt for sure. And the way we've been playing for the last 30 days, we're absolutely in the hunt. Nobody's blowing it out of the water in our division. The Mariners have no offense. Great pitching, but no offense. And then you have the Rangers, who have just fallen off since the World Series. And I get it. I mean, I see a lot of fatigue with the Astros after having 7 years of going into the ALCS. I mean, it's just those extra games and a shorter off season to really recuperate, and then you're back into the grind again, and it's a long grind. It's a marathon. So I totally get the fall off for the Rangers because this is the first time they've gone through that, and they're not out of it. But I am hoping that with the Astros surging now, even with Tucker still on the disabled list, or still not playing because he's hurt, even with Verlander having been out for a while, Garcia's coming back. We think McCullers is coming back. Garcia is actually doing a AAA start, I believe, AA or AAA, Friday. I mean, he could be back before we know it, but I mean, he's probably going to be back after the All-Star break, would be my guess. I would think the same for Caratini and Verlander. With the way that Salazar is holding it down, how do you rush Caratini back? I think Locked On Astros Wheelhouse was saying the same thing. That's where I initially heard it, was like, you know, Salazar's doing great. You don't need to rush Caratini back. Let Salazar do his thing. Let Caratini come back to 100%, you know? I think some guys will be obvious send downs like Hummel to make room. I don't know what they're going to do with Singleton. Are they going to DFA him to make space once Tucker and Verlander are ready? I know we got a couple of pitchers that are up there, but Garcia is going to be available too. So it's going to be really interesting to see what do they do with Salazar while he's performing. Do they really need a third catcher on the roster? Not if you're not using Caratini or Diaz at first base. You know, that's their secondary position, right? We're not seeing him over there at all. We're seeing him DH. We're seeing him pinch hit. Caratini's a valuable pinch hitter. Like, who else do you have on your bench unless you have somebody having a day off, like an Altuve or a Pena? If you actually give them a day off and you bring them up in the 8th or 9th inning in a situation that you could use that solid pinch hitter, we don't have anyone outside of Caratini that's getting it done, and him being a switch hitter is huge for us. I do think once his contract is over, it's going to be hard to re-sign him when you got Salazar ready to go, and Salazar's a lefty that's just pounding out doubles. He's a double machine. So it'll be really interesting to see how they do with him. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from Salazar, and the players love Salazar on every level that he's been on. Let's see. Dubon sat for the first time in a long time. He didn't do bad in last night's game, but he did show a lot of odd emotion, like when he was at first base instead of top. Sorry, it's kind of loud when she has the top down. And I've got a FedEx truck riding in my blind spot, so I'll get away from him a little bit. But I know if that was loud for me, I can't imagine what it was like for you guys. So anyway, Dubon. So last night, when he hit a pop-up or a ground ball to the infield, I think it was a little pop-up dinker to second base, drops a big F-bomb and kind of tosses his bat. I think in the inning before, he was trying to get a put out at first base, and Taylor had run over to first base for him to toss the ball to because he was pretty far off the bag. And he was yelling at him to move out of the way, and he ran to the bag and touched the base and barely got the runner out. I think that he's very competitive and he wants to have his stats there. He loved getting that Golden Glove. He wants another Golden Glove. He is the utility player. And in my opinion, gosh, I'd love to see Dubon sign a longer-term deal. This guy loves to play. But I think today was more of a, dude, calm down for a second. Part of the reason why we have you out there is you enjoy the game, you are dialed in, but you don't want to take it so seriously that you're going to run over Taylor Scott and put him on the DL, because we need him. He's one of our best middle relievers, if not our best middle reliever. He is consistent. ERA is low. Dude's a gamer, and he has a great Southern African accent. Dude's awesome, all the way around. So just like take a chill pill. Remember why we love you. You're going to be just fine. Still be a team player. I know you want your putouts. Everyone, Jake Myers wants his putouts. Let everyone play their position. Take a deep breath. He did get to play in later innings today when Singleton got a fluke base hit on a ball that should have been caught in center field. But the Rockies had a miscommunication on who was going to get it. and center fielder decided to let the infield get it, and they weren't really committed to it, so it kind of just dropped, and that opened up a big, like, 5-run inning, 6-run inning for the Astros, which I loved. Fun to watch. I think we had like 5 or 6 outs basically that inning. Anyway, so Dubon came up later in the game after scoring. He was on first with nobody out, ended up tagging up and scoring. Later, he got a double. I think it was in the bottom of the 8th inning, maybe. So just love the fuel tank on this guy. He's got a high motor. So I am wondering if, with his ability to play first, and you have all these people coming back at other positions, and you do have backup first basemen, you do have people who can play it, is Singleton on the hot list again to possibly get DFA'd? You know, like, if he's not getting base hits again, if he's not getting solid at-bats again, I don't think he can face another slump. I think it's kind of like Corey Julks this time last year, where he looked solid until he had like a 0 for 32 or 2 for 32 or something like that. Just a really rough stretch. And I think at some point, when you got people healthy and you're looking for roster spots, it's hard to justify somebody who struggled earlier in the year, did better, had some good at-bats, was serviceable. On the low end, but serviceable. If you struggle and you're just serviceable, you're also expendable. And I don't think they can send him down. I think that he's out of options. So I think they'd have to put him through waivers. And I think somebody would pick him up as a backup, somebody who doesn't have a deep bench, somebody who wants that possible lefty in the lineup. I hope good things for him, but anyone who's wearing an Astros uniform, I'm rooting for. You know, as much as I've given Bregman a hard time, like, I'm so happy when I see him get a 3 or 4 hit game. I'm like, that's amazing, because he was such a Achilles heel for our lineup for 2 months that when he's producing, it's like, awesome, he's one of our strengths right now. I don't want to sign him to a contract for more than like $18-20 million because he takes 2 months off and he's a liability for 2 months. And this is not new. His best days are behind him. Like, if you look back, the stats are much better. So you're signing him for what he's going to be able to produce for you for the next like 3 to 5 years, not what he's going to do for you for the next 8. And it's not going to be all-star numbers. So anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments, and go Astros. Hoping that they continue to do well here. Let's see how long this streak can go.